So yesterday I packed my bags to go on business travel. Today I thought that I would talk to you guys about travel, business travel. I've been all over the US, kind of like around the outside edges of the US. I've been to the East Coast, and I've been north to Colorado and those areas, and I've been south to Texas and New Mexico, and then East Coast, all up and down the East Coast. Love the East Coast. Totally different than California. And then my first business travel trip was it was really a one-day trip. I could have just gone and flown out that one day, but they wanted me there bright and early in the morning to represent the company. At the time I was working for Boeing, and I was working on a GUI, you know, wet behind the ears, brand new software engineer out of college, and I was working on the graphical user interface for this this terminal. Call it a terminal, something that logs onto a satellite. And I needed to fly to San Jose to go to the subcontractor to view our GUI, graphical user interface, on the screen that would be the operator station for that terminal. So I flew out on a Sunday. It was like my first time flying kind of alone, actually. It was my first time flying alone. I was 21 maybe. And I was actually a little apprehensive of takeoff. I was paying attention to little bumps and bang noises and stuff like that, because before I was with my dad, and my dad's like an airplane mechanic, and he was like, that's no problem. It's an airplane. It's an airplane, Josh. Shut up. Sit down. Enjoy the majesty of flight. So I was by myself, so I got to silently critique all these things that are going on. And I was actually a little freaked out my first flight. Made it to San Jose, and I don't remember where. I was outside of San Jose. I wasn't in like the Silicon Valley area. I was outside at a sub, and they set me up in what turned out to be a suite for some reason. It was like no rooms available, so I ended up getting like this really nice suite, and it was great. Come on.
I got my phone.
That's.
I'm playing games and
I don't care about your phone. You got to get your toys. Put them away.
I'm playing games. Don't touch my phone.
Okay. I won't touch your phone.
I'm playing games.
You're playing a game? This is his phone.
Playing games.
This thing doesn't work. So they put me up. Whoa. So they put me up in some, you know, decent to middling hotel. That's usually what happens. Is you get a 3.5 to a 4-star hotel.
What's this?
Yeah, that's my hat. Give me that hat.
Is that yours?
Yeah, don't hold it like that. You're damaging it. This is a hat. Somebody, I think Leia bought me this. Look at the guy from Soundgarden when I wear this. Go get your toys. And they gotta, ow! They gotta go in the closet, bud. They put me up in this, I like it when I fold these up like that. I think that looks pretty cool. They put me up in this 3 to 4-star hotel. I think it was like a Embassy Suites. And at the time, like, I didn't really drink very often. Go ahead, put it down. All of them. Pick it all the toys up with your hands and bring them in here. All as many toys as you can get in your hands and bring them over here. Try to get as many toys in one trip as possible. I didn't really drink, and I didn't really have any concept of like what's good eating. I did, but not like I do now. And so this new concept was brought up to me. Is, oh, well, you fly out on a Sunday, and that way you're ready and rearing in the morning to start with the subcontractor. And so I flew out there, and the punchline of the story is gonna come later, but land on a Sunday, get all situated, and show up early on a Monday. And I go to the lab, they show me, I'm supposed to look at this screen and how the GUI looks on the screen. And I'm like, the resolution's like really bad on this thing. All of them, get them, put them down, get more. I tell them, like, yeah, this resolution's really bad. And they're like, well, we could probably fix that in the future. I'm like, you can't. I mean, the display is the display. You can't make it better or worse. And I'm like, oh, and so I kind of know where this is going. Is we're not gonna get what we want. So I end up calling it then, because there's no point in me continuing. I was supposed to do a night vision test, but don't even bother with that because it's DOA, dead on arrival. Yeah.
Bye-bye. It's over.
So I'm out on site and I've discovered that the monitor's not acceptable. We're not able to do what we thought we could do with them because the resolution's all wrong and our GUI looks horrible. It's barely operable. So I'm at the point where I'm like, well, my job's kind of done here because I can't do anything with this. So I was there for maybe 2 hours. I spent the night, had a quiet evening, had a meal. No big deal. Wasn't doing anything crazy out partying or anything like that. So I go back to the airport. My flight isn't until the next day. I called my work and said, hey, there's nothing I can do out here. This thing's just not going to work. So they were like, yeah, come home. So I go get my flight changed, and because the flight was fully booked, I ended up getting bumped into first class. So my first flight home was a first class flight home. That's something of a rarity now. That really doesn't happen anymore. So I get back, and my manager's not happy. And he's not happy in part because I rang the bell / blew the whistle that the screen resolution was too small. And like nobody had thought to go out there, and I had kind of recommended why don't I just go out there and get it done, and I can also do the night vision thing at the same time. And he was kind of begrudgingly let me do it because I'm just a young kid, let me go have fun, whatever. But it turns out it was really value added because we had to wait until the second gen of that screen before we went and bought it, paid for it, got it on contract, did all that stuff. So at the end, when we went to go expense my travel, he looks at me and goes, well, yeah, you're not going to get reimbursed for anything on Sunday, so that's kind of like your own day. I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, well, we're not going to pay for your food, we're not going to do any of that because you went out there on your own and you didn't work because you don't have a laptop. And at the time they weren't giving laptops to people, so basically I asked him, I was like, but you wanted me to fly out on the Sunday so I could show up bright and early. He goes, yeah, I never personally fly out on Sundays because company policy, you can't get reimbursed if you don't work on that day. And I went, wow, you're a dick. I didn't say that specifically, but I told him, I was like, wow, that's really messed up, dude, that you told me to fly out and now you're hitting me with the policy of you can't reimburse me. I did not work for that guy for very long. Yeah, that is the first story, my first time on business travel. If you have an interesting story, I'd love to hear it. I have a ton more business travel stories, but they're kind of interesting, but not cool. Very mundane. Nothing ever interesting has happened, at least that I can talk about. Alright guys, that'll do it for today. Question of the day. You tell me what your first business travel was. Were you a young, wet behind the ears whippersnapper and didn't know what was going to happen? It was a nightmare situation, or was it good? Me? I'm nonplussed by the whole thing at the end. I'll take the free suite and the first class for the, I had to pay for a dinner type of thing, and I didn't get reimbursed for my time, but that doesn't happen anymore. Josh is much smarter and wiser now. Alright guys, if you enjoyed this, give me a thumbs up. If you have not already, please subscribe, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. So, confirmation, I will not be flying out this week unless some serious miracle happens. I'm glad to be home. I want to be home. I prefer being home, but at the same time, I really need to do this effort. This effort is only helping me out next month, so we'll talk about more of that in the future.